Recording. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the second episode of our podcast, of our Biogenesis podcast, with your team, as always, the Biogenesis team. How are you guys doing?
Hello, everyone. We are fine, thank you. How about you?
I'm good. Great. Ziad, looking confused.
I thought there was a problem with my internet. Okay. How are you guys? I
Okay,
hope you're doing great.
great. Rabia,
I'm fine too.
good to hear. Okay, so how about we get into today's topic, which is general health. Health and what affects our genetic morphology and the outcome of our gene content, how we look, how we behave, how we do all of that. So this episode actually might be a bit too long because the topics are a bit wide, so we might split the episode into two or something, but we'll see how much we can cover for now. So we're gonna talk about health and what changes it or what affects it. We can start with you guys and what do you think about, for example, let's start with radiation or environment. Yeah, radiation and environment. What do you guys think about it? What do you know about it?
Say, for example, generally the environmental changes and how they actually affect our health, or let's say genes specifically. The environmental factors generally, for example, our lifestyle, these all epigenetical changes in parentheses.
Mm-hmm.
So how they they affect the DNA's the DNA's expression, and how actually it works on our body. For example, like as you said, radiation, other environmental factors such as temperature and other stuff, how they, for example, can turn off or on a gene. For instance, in case of cancer, let's say, in case of cancer, such environmental factors or changes may affect the gene to get on, for example, which affects the growth of the abnormal cell growth of the cancer. On the other hand, it may affect a gene to get off, to get to a cancer's gene to turn off, in which it suppresses such a gene. So yeah, generally, and
Yeah, actually, regarding the cancer specifically, I have seen, I think it was one of the doctors speaking, and he was saying that like radiation, unfiltered radiation due to for example, the ozone holes or something, it was actually breaking the DNA. It was actually shattering the DNA base pairs. Like the double helix form is actually breaking because of it.
the double helix was breaking.
Yeah, yeah, it was breaking.
Mhm. Well,
Yeah.
that's why regarding chemotherapy, I guess it's actually part of radiation, the
No,
chemotherapy. Oh,
chemotherapy
no.
can do yeah, chemotherapy does a similar effect. It's actually but it's not mainly the DNA. It's mainly that the cell is malformed, that it's not in its full structural integrity. So it just due to the radiation, it just pops, it just kills
Mhm,
the function. Yeah.
mhm.
And mind you, it doesn't only affect humans, it also affects plants.
Yeah, environment generally, plants, animals,
Yeah.
humans. Yeah.
Bahar wanted to say something?
Yeah, actually, we all know that the radiation is it can mostly affect to the human body. Like it doesn't matter also radiation or other environmental factors. They can affect even till our DNA, as Ziad and you mentioned. Like we know that our cells divide and grow normally, like healthy in a healthy way. But for the after the radiation, the cells can divide but not grow the normally. It can grow the abnormally, and it can it can be a result of cancer, as you mentioned, and other disease. And also, actually, I have heard that kind of things like if we have radiation or other environmental factors, even we can't feel that with our body, with our health, but although we have, but during the birth, giving the birth to the world and other things, it can happen with our baby. Like if we don't feel something, like although we don't feel, but it can affect to the other generation.
Yeah, I guess that's the most, or that's the major problem of radiation, in which actually it damages the DNA and other reproductive cells that results in mutations that are carried from generation to generation. Yeah.
Yes, and I think if baby exposed to radiation when in the womb, it can born with many anomalies. Radiation is most harmful thing for the pregnant women, especially.
Actually, regarding radiation and pregnant women, I don't think radiation is the biggest threat when it comes to pregnant women. Radiation doesn't do much to pregnant women. Like it does more to the mother than the child. That is correct, it can affect the child, but there's other things that affect the child and the mother even more. But in that regards, we can stay a bit with the radiation part because I actually read something interesting a while back. I didn't confirm it yet. I think there was a research paper on it, but I didn't confirm it yet. That was like there was this scientist, Japanese scientist, I forgot his name, but the Japanese scientist was growing a tomato plant, but because of the sunlight, he decided to filter it. Filter like a lot of sun rays and just keep a single type of it or just like an assortment, a healthy assortment of what's it called? Sun rays, basically. And he exposed the tomato plant to it. He like according to the research, this plant has produced over 5,000 tomatoes. It produced over 5,000 tomatoes. And I'm like, 5,000 just because we filtered the light. And I mean,
What?
in a way, it does make sense. In a way, it does make sense. Let's talk about physics and because the sun, for example, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, he said that the sun is actually not yellow, it's actually white. Our sun is not yellow, it's white. Why does it become white? Is because like as it's traveling through space, the rays start breaking down and refracting and the light keeps breaking until it shows us yellow, breaking away the blue, right?
Mhm.
So in a way, if we think about it, in the past, they said like scientists proved that in the past, the previous eras of Earth's atmosphere has a lot more oxygen. That's why they also said, like, for example, dinosaurs, if they existed now, they wouldn't be able to live because of the lack of oxygen compared to back then.
Mhm.
So if that is the case, light would have to gone a bit more, dig a bit harder to reach Earth, to reach the plants, because it's already going through a lot more molecules through the atmosphere coming to us,
Wow,
which makes
that's
plants
interesting.
Yeah, which makes plants more productive. So I think this plant that I talked about was like produced a lot of outcome just because of taking care of the light, you know?
Wow. So and how did you filter the light? What did you use chemicals or stuff?
Oh no, not
It
chemicals.
was
To filter right is like what's it called? You know, cars and how we apply films, for example? The film to lower the light coming in is the exact same thing, like films to filter out specific
okay,
lights.
okay.
Like
I
glasses,
wasn't
for
so far.
example, you know? Yeah, glasses, for example, they break down like some glasses have the film to break down blue lights.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's similar to that.
that's
Yeah,
it's interesting.
yeah.
No, but I guess it's a bit hard. Like remember, comparing to farms, they
Hmm.
need so much. I mean, if they want to apply this method to farms and other stuff, they're so expensive. I mean,
Oh, it is. It is.
The
Because
biggest,
you're gonna have to.
the
You're
biggest,
gonna have to cover. You're gonna have to cover a
yeah, all the
lot of ground.
farm, yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
That's actually interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Talking about plants. Talking about plants. The rise of GMOs and how can you identify them? What do you know? What do you guys know about GMOs?
The genetically modified
Organisms.
organisms. Yeah. Okay, but let's say regarding the genetically modified organisms,
Mm-hmm.
they keep on using the genetically modified, so chemicals, so they're not healthy.
Yeah.
Uh,
Chemicals and genetically modification. Yeah.
so yeah, I guess I don't know. I'm not. I haven't read a lot about genetically modified organisms, but
Mm-hmm.
let's say basically, as you said, they're modified and chemicals, so they're not healthy. I don't know. No.
Robbie, what do you think?
I came now and
Okay.
I can answer. Yeah.
Welcome back.
Like GMOs, like genetically modified organisms. Actually, we took some lessons like from our professor, like Mohsen Kanok, from the plant biology course. We took that together. And it was so interesting. There were some interesting facts about GMOs, like genetically modified organisms, that some people or scientists argue that it has harmful effect on the human body, and others think that there is no any harmful effect on the human body. Actually, it depends on the people and how we use them. Like, I think even now, the scientists haven't solved that questions like strictly. It can be in two ways, like, but mostly to my mind, it will affect to our genes. I am thinking like that because if the genetically modified organism like products, for example, we eat, like, it's not the healthy food for us. Like, I know that for some countries, they have some food or other problems for it with the crops and other things. They want to try to create the GMOs for curing the world, their country. It can be from that side, it can be better. But for example, to some countries, there is no any need for eating the GMOs. We can find some healthy foods. At that time, I prefer not to eat that GMOs foods because, as I mentioned before, everything, even like environmental GMOs and other things, can affect our genes even if we don't feel that, but it can continue with new generations. Like, it can be dangerous for new generations, like GMOs. But if the country has some problems with the normal foods, maybe we know that for the GMOs, for example, while we are growing some trees or vegetables, fruits, there needs some water, rain, and other things like environmental wind, everything, because they are growing with that factor. But if, for example, one country has their just 2 seasons, how they can grow that foods? So they can add something, I don't know exactly their names, and at the end it can be GMOs.
Okay. As I've read some articles and research about GMOs, I found that some GMOs involve allergies, cancers, and other environmental issues that can damage actually our genes, and they can be passed from generation to generation, as Var said. But I mean, I guess there are some, as far as I remember, there are some GMOs that have been modified to be much healthier. They're naturally they're healthy, they're healthy, they're considered healthy, but they have been modified to be more healthier.
I
So
wouldn't
that's
say I wouldn't say that. I mean, I think you're talking about the first appearance, one of the first appearances of GMOs, which was the golden rice. I think that's what you're talking about, right?
actually I forgot the article, but I forgot
Yeah,
which was the specific plan or
yeah.
the
The case,
issue.
I think you're talking about golden rice. It was like there was like I think the European Union, I think, or the UCF, the UCF, I think. Um, the Universal Health Organization, I think. It had to modify rice for high producing rice countries, like the countries that are having high production of rice. So, but they're lacking the people were actually suffering from the lack of vitamin A. That's why they genetically modified rice with the precursor of beta carotene, was it? I'm not sure, but it was like beta something. So that's like that is actually to help the synthesis of vitamin A basically
Mm.
because the people were lacking in it, so they had to mass produce it into people having it. You see?
Yeah. So yeah, in
Yeah, but
other
that
parts, that's healthy.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Could
yeah.
like maybe it's not fulfilling its natural role, but it's fulfilling the role that the country needs right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, yeah, okay. You know what, Rabia, go ahead.
And we can't know the effects to human body in the long term, but I think now it can be helpful sometimes, as you said, Ziad. And it's GMO, it's make easy to reach different nutrition because some GMOs increases the productive of plants.
Yeah, actually, there regarding what you said, Rabia, there was a research. It was talking about a farm that was producing, I'm not sure, it was either potatoes or carrots, basically. But it had like well, let's say one square of land, and it was producing potatoes at the time, but the demand was so high, so they had to use more land, basically. So they had to plow a lot of land. Like let's just hypothetically say that we have one square, but to reach the demand, they had to use like 20 squares of land. By 20, like you can multiply it by high numbers so you can know how big the land, how big are we talking? But then, thanks to GMOs, they go back to the exact same one piece of land, one square of land, and using GMOs, they produced the yield, the outcome of this one piece of land was the 20 land outcome. So they covered this 20 land outcome in one square of land. So it's saving place and high productivity.
Money.
Now, yeah, money, that's
Mm.
one of that's one of the factors that could play in, of course.
Yeah.
But of course, as we said, demand, and as we said, uh like I'm still like how can I say? I don't really believe in the concept of GMO as in like it's a completely healthy thing because over a short period of time producing that much, is the plant getting enough time to actually absorb everything?
Yeah. But I guess there's still debatable, I guess.
It is. I mean, in a way, it doesn't make sense. Plus, it changed morphologically. Like I remember once I was going with my dad to the market, and I wanted to
Mm.
buy fruits or vegetables, and I saw two different stacks of carrots. I was like, why is there two different stacks of carrots? They're both carrots. So I was like, okay, let me go see what is this about. So one of the stacks of carrots looked appetizing. It looked delicious. It looked like the orange was shining. It looked so good. And the other one looked dirty. The other one looked basically dirty. It just came out of the ground, dirty, full of soil, let's say. But it wasn't full of soil. It's just like the color from the outside is a bit brownish. So I went to the first one. I went to the good looking ones, and I smelled it. I held it and I was like smelling it. There's nothing. There's no smell. The carrot was absolutely without a smell. Then I went to the other one that didn't look appetizing. It looked dirty, and I smelled it. It smelled so rich. It smelled so good. It was unbelievable. And it turns out that the shiny looking one was the GMO, and the dirty looking one was actually the original one. And it was shocking that it already reached the market. And even in the market, these two have two different. Even in the market, these two have two different prices. Like because even just because they're GMOs. So it's like unbelievable. That's how it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same case
Okay.
happened actually with me, but not carrots. They were apples.
Really?
So yeah.
Tell us about it. Tell us about it. How did the
Like
carrots look?
I was actually going to the market buy some vegetables and fruits. So I found two stacks actually three stacks actually with three different colors. You know, apples have so many different like types. The green, the red, yeah. So I was about to buy the red one. So there were two stacks. The one was had an apple that is like that's that big. Like two of them had like 1 kilo. Mm, yeah. So they were big and shiny. Yeah. And they looked delicious, as I said. They looked so delicious. And another one, they weren't as shiny as them, and they were small. So yeah, it appeared that the one that was big, it was the GMO one, and the one that was small and not shiny, it was the natural one or the one that got the original one. That's it. So yeah, same
Interesting.
case. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
very
power of
interesting. Yeah.
GMO.
Yeah. What about you
So
guys, Bahar and Rabia? Did you ever experience anything with the GMOs?
Actually, I have experienced that. Like one time I searched on internet about GMOs and I read that on the ticket, like or the brochure of some vegetables, there are some numbers, like they are codes of them, and I don't know or remember. I don't remember exactly right now, but it's related with the numbers. If it starts with 9, if I am not mistaken, and continues 5 numbers, it will be GMOs. Like after that information, I looked at every time on the markets and other places for their numbers. Like I am just looking, for example, to bananas because GMOs mostly happens with bananas, as you mentioned with apples. Like when I am watching that, I expected that it will be GMOs because it was so big and the colorful that you mentioned that with GMOs. And I also looked at their numbers, like for checking. Yeah, I was sure that it was GMOs. But right now, I don't remember like situation with their numbers. But if I'm not mistaken, if it starts with 9, it will be GMOs. Yeah, that
Yeah,
experience.
I remember the video actually. I think I saw the video too. It was talking about the numbers and everything. I think the closer you
Yeah.
get to zero, the closer you get to zero is cleaner. Uh, yeah. If you, yeah.
so
What about you? What about you, Rabia?
My aunt's family and my aunts, they are farmer, and some seeds are protected from diseases and insects, and they have to buy these seeds because of the production. The other seeds, in the long term, they are, can I say,
Vulnerable?
eating by the insects.
yes.
Actually, for not giving the wrong information to our audience, I looked at on the internet about numbers. Like it's written that if the 4-digit number means food was conventionally grown, but if 5-digit numbers that begins with a 9 means produce is organic. I I changed the sentence because I gave the wrong information before. There should be 5-digit numbers, and if it starts with 9, means produce is organic. But if there are 5-digit number that begins with 8, means it's genetically modified. If it starts with 8, it will be genetically modified.
Okay, okay. Interesting.
What about guys coming back to our health? What do you think our lifestyle? In what ways does our lifestyle affect our health?
I mean, mainly food. Food is food is one of the factors.
Yeah,
You
it
know, we
is.
just
And
talked.
also sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, sleep. Oof, sleep. Yeah,
Our sleep
sleep.
pattern, yes.
Sleep
And
disturbing
stress.
our. Yeah, stress too, of course.
Cheers. What do you think
Uh,
about exercising?
oh yeah, of course, of course. Exercising
Yeah.
is the muscles. I think I read a research saying that the muscles kept like they produce proteins that are actually, how can I say, they affect our mental health positively as you
Yeah, they
exercise.
are.
But that only happens when you
Yeah,
exercise. If you don't exercise,
yeah,
you don't get that.
yeah. I've seen a video regarding this thing that what you're saying is that a person who exercises the moment he comes when he contracts his muscles, our muscles produce a hormone that is antidepressant. It is called, I guess, the hope hormone, something like that, in which it actually that's why actually when you go to the gym, we feel like we feel that we are going there, we're getting out our pressure, our stress. So yeah, that's why, because the muscles keep secretes the hope hormone, or the antidepressant hormone that is secreted when you contract your muscles. No.
Yeah, yeah. No, workout does wonders when it comes to the body and even the mental health. And regarding mental health, actually, this is a very, very important, serious topic. Is that mental health is one of the lead factors of a lot of problems and diseases. It's like, although your body can be healthy, all full of vitamins, full of like every single nutrient you need, it's in your body. But if your mental health is not right, your body will not be right. Like
100%.
I remember, for example, relatives or people I know, they used to go to doctors. Their blood tests show that everything is perfect, but it's just that they don't see that they are under a lot of stress, so that they just can't really function properly, you know?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. What else? What else do we have regarding health? You know what? I think this has been enough for today. We can have another episode, which is gonna happen soon enough. Now that I remembered, like there's a very big topic that we need to talk about, which is processed foods. We talked about foods, but we didn't talk about processed foods. Processed foods actually is a very deep topic, uh, because it has a lot of effects and there's a lot of proofs for it. We're gonna talk about this next episode, I think. And we're gonna also talk about more about lifestyle because we still didn't have a lot about it. We just talked about first GMOs and exercising, and that's it. We can talk about more later. Bahar, you
Yep.
want to say something?
No, I
Okay.
won't just, I approve you, yes.
Yes. Um, so yeah, that'll be all for today. Thank you all for listening, and we'll be seeing you in the next episode. Bye bye.
We hope you enjoy us.
Yeah, enjoy the enjoying the show. Yeah. Okay. Bye bye. Bye
Goodbye.
bye.
Bye bye.